discuss a certain type of mindset, a psychological approach to life that takes advantage of chaos, obstacles, and failures. This philosophy goes beyond the durable, beyond resilient, and beyond robust. There is no word in the English language for this concept, so let us call it anti-fragile. I'd like to thank Glenn Kuipers for introducing me to this concept because it has transformed my life since I have learned about it. I've adapted my thoughts about this topic from TEDxNichols' book, Antifragile, Things That Gain from Disorder. To say it simply, anti-fragile is just the opposite of fragile. Picture a glass box full of glass bottles with fragile, handle with care, stamped across the outside. That box is fragile because any bumps or shakes will break its contents. The opposite of that box will not just be a sturdy or a resilient box that can handle bumps and bruises, but an anti-fragile box that will actually get stronger every time it is dropped. The outside of the anti-fragile box would say, please mishandle, because it would benefit from any drops. It would get stronger anytime it is bumped, and it would get sturdier with any adverse conditions. To further illustrate the concept of being anti-fragile, I'd like to show you a hydra, a creature from Greek mythology with 7 heads. Anytime one of the hydra's 7 heads are cut off, 2 more will grow back. Thus, the hydra embodies the meaning of being anti-fragile because it quite literally grows from failure, and it grows in the face of adversity. However, the concept of being anti-fragile did not originate from the Greek civilization, but from Mother Nature herself, who embodies antifragility in everything she creates. For example, every species strengthens itself in the form of natural selection, which leads to evolution. Furthermore, the human body is also naturally anti-fragile. For example, your muscles need stress and strength to grow strong. As you can see in these pictures, taken with an electron microscope of muscles before and after exercise, exercise creates microscopic tears in the muscle fibers, which gives your body the opportunity to grow back the muscles larger and stronger, so that every time you try to lift or run, your body will be able to perform better. Furthermore, your immune system is also naturally anti-fragile because it needs small amounts of bacteria and viruses to develop immunity to counter diseases. According to a 2021 study published in the peer-reviewed journal Frontiers in Immunology, researchers found that when the human body is not exposed to germs from other humans and is isolated for too long of a time, the body not only loses the opportunity to build up immunity to new diseases, but your current immune cells also slowly start to die and degenerate from lack of use. A similar phenomenon can sometimes happen on the psychological level when humans can experience post-traumatic growth, or PTG. The theory of post-traumatic growth was developed by psychologists Richard Tedeschi and Lawrence Calhoun, and it holds that people who go through a period of adverse psychological trauma or emotional turmoil often grow mentally stronger in the period following the struggle. The researchers found that this growth often revolves around survivors finding a new personal strength and a new personal meaning of helping others. Furthermore, to be anti-fragile, you have to get up stronger every time you are knocked down. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "The greatest glory in living is not in never falling, but in rising every time you fall." This quote really embodies the meaning of being anti-fragile, and it demonstrates a core component. I used to be deeply afraid of falling and failing. Tests and quizzes in particular were a major source of anxiety for me throughout high school. Then, I I got to high school, and I failed. I failed a couple tests and I failed a couple quizzes. And it was really hard for me to switch schools and have brand new teachers and brand new friends. Shockingly though, the world did not end. Nobody told me that my life was worthless because I got a bad grade on a math test when I was 14. However, this experience taught me that I needed to change my study methods and the way I was approaching the material. I didn't drop my difficult classes, and by the end of the year, I had a much better grasp of how to study, and I had a firmer knowledge of material. This experience taught me that I needed to be able to cope with my mistakes and learn from them, and not focus on the past, but look forward for new tests and new opportunities to get stronger. Furthermore, another core component of being anti-fragile is avoiding dependence on a single outcome. Oftentimes, humans try to predict the future with probability-based models and rules of what the most likely outcome will be. However, any systems based on these models are extremely fragile, because when reality strays from the model, these systems will break when something unexpected happens, such as an earthquake, a stock market collapse, or even a pandemic. Thus, we have to resist the urge to suppress randomness and depend on a single outcome. Instead, we have to think like a stock market investor. Stock market investors, they don't buy all of one stock, right? They don't throw all of their money into one single possibility. Instead, they create a diverse portfolio of many different stocks and many different types of companies, so that even if one company goes bankrupt, they will still see positive returns on their investments as a whole. We have to do the same thing in our own lives, by giving ourselves lots of opportunities to take small risks, to find out what will work and what will not. However, we have to avoid big risks that, if lost, would wipe us out completely. I made this mistake once when I devoted all of my free time to sports. In middle school, soccer, basketball, and ski racing were the only things that I knew how to do on weekends. That is, until I broke my thumb going too high on the ski jump, as you can see in this x-ray. I couldn't play sports for a month, and I had never felt so well. If I couldn't dribble or shoot or even run, what could I do? I felt lost, useless even. However, that experience taught me that I needed to diversify my portfolio of passions. I spent more time with my friends and my schoolwork, and I learned how to have fun without competing for something. Most importantly, I learned how to cope with unexpected things and disasters. And when I felt like my whole world was falling apart, I learned how to bounce back and take that as a redirection. I realized that more doors were opening than ever before, and I had more opportunities than what I realized. Thus, by avoiding fragility and developing anti-fragility, we can turn failures into new opportunities, turn challenges into growth, and set ourselves up to thrive in a very uncertain and chaotic world. Thank you.